I am Justice Linda Reina Yanez. I am the Senior Justice on the 13th Court of Appeals. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you. But today I find myself teaching a class over at the Harvard Law School in Boston, Massachusetts. But I can tell you, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I am seeking this endorsement because this endorsement means something to me substantively. I believe in your values and your ideals, and I inherently believe in collective bargaining. And that's why I'm coming to you. I want to spend a little bit of time telling you about myself so that you will know why I am the best and your candidate for the Texas Supreme Court Place 8. This journey of mine began in the cotton fields and the vegetable fields of the Midwest, where I was a farm worker. I had the opportunity to get an education, and that led me to becoming, and my first professional job was as a school teacher, an elementary school teacher. I then was able to go on to law school. And when I got my law degree, where did I go? I went to legal aid to go back and help my community and those members of my community who could not afford legal services. From the Legal Assistance Foundation of Chicago, where I had started working with the farm worker program, assisting farm workers in wage and hour issues, I then came back to Texas and began working with Texas Rural Legal Aid, again, continuing to help those who were indigent and not able to afford lawyers. As a legal aid lawyer, I had the privilege of working on a team that took a case all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and the United States Supreme Court ruled in our favor, finding that all school children in the state of Texas deserve a public school education. When Ronald Reagan was elected president, he cut our funds, and we were not able to continue the work that we had started at Legal Aid. And so I went into the private practice of law, where I worked on everything from family law cases to immigration law to criminal defense work, and continued working on some civil rights litigation while I continued in my private practice, eventually becoming the first woman partner in one of the most prominent firms in South Texas. I've had a lot of firsts in my career, because when I was in law school, there were very, very few of us, very few women, very few minorities. From there, I then returned to Chicago and became regional counsel for the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund, concentrating on voting rights issues. From Chicago, I then traveled to Massachusetts, where I became a full-time clinical instructor at the Harvard Law School. And while I was at Harvard, President Clinton was elected president. And he called upon me to serve on the Clinton-Gore presidential transition team, and I headed up the immigration team for President Clinton and prepared the briefing book to advise him on all of the hot-button issues on immigration. After I completed that work, Governor Ann Richards appointed me to the 13th Court of Appeals. That appointment was historic. I am the first woman to serve on the 13th Court of Appeals and the first Latina to ever serve as an appellate judge in the history of Texas, where I have now served for almost 15 years. I have received recognition for my legal work by being appointed to the National Judicial College. So I teach judges how to be better judges. I have written over 1,000 opinions since I've been on the court for almost 15 years. This is my judicial resume. My opinions are written in these books that line the law offices of many lawyers across the state and many of the judges. I cannot run away from my record because it's right here in black and white for anyone to read. And if you read my opinions, you're going to find opinions that are true to the rule of law, but while being true to the rule of law, also taking very much into account the real life experiences of workers, of consumers, of patients, of ordinary Texans. And that's why I am coming here to you to tell you that when I go to the table at the Texas Supreme Court, at that table, there's going to be a voice that has never been there before. And that voice is a voice for you, for ordinary people and the issues that you care about. I bring a breadth of legal, judicial, and life experiences that no one else on the ballot brings. Ladies and gentlemen, I am running for the highest appellate court in this state, but I am an appellate judge and have been for almost 15 years. And I will continue to be your voice on the highest appellate court in this state, the Texas Supreme Court. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your endorsement. It is a meaningful endorsement to me, and I'm going to fight to get it. And I look forward to seeing you in person tomorrow.